Hello and welcome along to the Thursday edition of The Shed, hashtag Irish Buzz Mafia. Me, Trevor, you're very welcome along to the show. I said I'd do a quick show this evening, just to touch base and see how things are going. I know the OTAs have started and the bills are back, and most of the bills are back, thankfully. The only ones that are of note that are missing due to injury or absent are Joey Bosa, who has a calf injury, and James Cook, who hasn't shown up yet. And let's hope, fingers crossed, that James Cook will get his head in place and get his act together. Remember, it's better to be with a team that's winning than getting paid and not enjoying it. So keep the fingers crossed that, and he will get paid at the end of the year, all going well. But that's not what I'm going to do tonight's or this evening's show. What I'm going to do is I'm looking at the NFL quarterbacks, and I'm going to rate them. I'm going to rate the top five as in the top five, who my top five are. But the rest I'm going to rate as in what their teams have as a chance to win the Super Bowl. Whether that is a good chance, somewhat of a chance, slim chance, and no chance. And some of the teams, people will agree and some will disagree. And most of the teams have their quarterbacks ready or have a plethora of quarterbacks ready, and some of the teams are in dire strait. And we'll talk about them now in a few minutes. Hopefully next week now I'm going to organise another show with Therese, and we'll kick the shows in then hopefully one a week running up into the summer, and then we'll go two a week then once we're getting the season is starting and getting into gear. So anyway, let's start tonight's show. So what I'm going to do is, in my opinion, and now this is pre-season and this is as of today, where teams are with their quarterbacks and where I rank their quarterbacks. So I'm going to leave the top five till last, right? Just keep things interesting. And I'm going to start with the teams that have a good chance of winning the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to go 10, 9, 8, 7 is this. I'm going to give a list of quarterbacks, where they're from, and who I think have a good chance. So the teams that have a fairly good chance of competing for the Super Bowl outside the top five are, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford, LA Rams. The Rams, they were thereabouts. They were a play away last year from beating the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And they have built well and done well so far with their reshape of their squad. And I think Matthew Stafford is a quality quarterback and will be welcome in 99% of teams. So he's there. I have Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions. Yes, it didn't go well in the playoffs last year for Jared Goff, but the Lions will be thereabouts again this year. Dan Campbell is a very strong team, and I know they changed their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, but they still have the same nucleus of players, and I think they'll be a very good team again this year. CJ Stroud of the Texans. I think the Texans, he stumbled a bit or dropped off a bit in the middle of last year, but he came back to himself near the end of the year. And I like CJ Stroud. I think he's a quality quarterback, and I think he will push the Texans to go a bit further again this year. Bo Nix of the Broncos. Again, another team that Bo Nix is a second year. It'll be interesting to see how his second year goes. I have a few more names down there that'll be in their second year, and again, it'll be like Brock or like CJ Stroud last year. Will he, have a blip in the middle of the year, or will he just continue on the way he is? He had a very impressive rookie year, and I haven't been there for that reason. Brock Purdy, the 49ers. Brock just got paid, and rightly so. And again, he's already brought his team to a Super Bowl, and I think way his structure is done, from what I'm hearing and reading, is that all these big players will be able to re-sign and have re-signed because of his deal, and the 49ers will be a team again this year that will be pushing. Jordan Love at the Packers, again, a team that's moving the right directions, and he's a quality quarterback, and he's making Green Bay his own place now. Aaron Rodgers is disappearing from it, and Jordan Love will prove in the next few years not sure about this year, but they have a chance. Every team has a chance at the start of the year. Uh, will they push for the Super Bowl or not? Now, then I have Dak Prescott of the Cowboys. Uh, in regular season, Dak is quality. In playoffs, he's yet to prove himself, but he's coming back from an injury, and I think the Cowboys are rebooting nicely. We don't know what to expect from them right now, but on paper, they're looking good. And I think Dak coming back will help them. And he might not be, he's not in the top five, not my top five. And I don't think he's in most top fives. But Dak is there or thereabouts. And again, this team will have a chance because of him this year. Then we have Jaden Daniels, again, like Bo Nix from last year. Will he continue on? Because he was awesome last year, and rightly so, was Rookie of the Year. And the Commanders have built and they just made their offensive line stronger, have built their team for him, got him Deebo Samuel. And the weapons he has already had from last year, he still has them. And I think the Commanders will be a team that will really, shake things up this year. It'll come down to see, will Jaden have a blip or will he continue on? And I hope he continues on because he is a quality player. Then we go to the teams that have a more than 50% chance, but not one of the favourites. And I'm going to go Justin Herbert of the Chargers. Now, in America, I see people raving about him, and maybe he has class, but he is yet to deliver it. And I think this is a big year for Justin Herbert and the Chargers and Harbaugh to push on. They did well. They got to the playoffs last year. It wasn't a success for them. But this is a guy now that I think there's question marks on this year, and that's why I have him in this it's the third tier, my third tier. And he needs to prove himself to me, and the Chargers need to prove themselves. And it starts with him as the head guy in there. Then Geno Smith of the Raiders. The Raiders weren't a great team. They may not be a great team this year, but I'm only going off the quarterbacks and where I rate them. And Geno Smith is ahead of Aidan O'Connell. Even though Aidan O'Connell is there as his backup, Geno Smith has done it with the Seahawks, and I think he's a good upgrade for the Raiders this year, so will help them. Baker Mayfield at the Buccaneers. Everyone knows that watch the show. I love Baker Mayfield. Should he be up a step higher? Maybe, but it's just I have to group them up, and I just think the other guys are ahead of Baker. Baker can be class, and then Baker can be average. But I am delighted, and everyone knows I love Baker, and I have him in there, and I think the Buccaneers could have a good season again this year. Like they play in a very poor division, and that's partly the reason why I have them down there, is because they play in a very poor division. Then we have Tua Tagovailoa from the Dolphins. I just hope he stays fit. He is a very good quarterback. We'll leave out the rivalry between the Bills and Dolphins and so on. I think he'll have a good season, and as long as he stays fit, and that's my main concern. If he stays fit, then he's a very good quarterback. Will cause teams problems, and it's just his injuries and his health, and the main thing is his health, and I just hope he's okay. Then Drake May from the Patriots is the same as Bo Nix and the same as Jim Daniels. He didn't have the breakout year that them two did, but he did steady the Patriots when he came in last year. And with Mike Vrabel now in charge, I think he'll have a better setup, and there is a quality quarterback in him. Now, I know he's in our division, so I don't want to say too much good things about him, but it'll be a big year for him, and it'll be interesting to see, can he push on, or will he hit the bumps like CJ Stroud kind of did last year. Then we have Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold then it's gone to the Seahawks. He had a super year last year. The reason he's in that group is he needs to do it on a more consistent basis, and we will see this year was last year a blip, or was last year, the start of the new Sam Darnold, and will Seahawks push on. And hopefully for Sam Darnold, it is a good start for him, and he'll continue on because it was great to see him play so well last year for the Vikings. Then I move into, well, better than no chance quarterbacks. And there's a few here that might open eyes, but it's just my opinion. And the first guy is Bryce Young. This is a huge year for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. The second half of last year, we seen what probably the real Bryce Young was or should be. And I hope that continues this year. And the Panthers were a different team when he came back in when Andy Dalton got injured. He accepted being cut, he learned, he moved on, and he came back in. And I hope for Bryce Young and the Panthers this year that it's an upward spiral for them and they go up and he goes up. Because I do think he's every bit as good as CJ Stroud. He's, in my opinion, a long way off him yet, but there is the makings of it, and I have seen proof. So I'm just hoping for Bryce Young and it continues on. Justin Fields at the New York Jets. Justin Fields, I thought may stay at the Steelers. He didn't. He went to the Jets. He has a chance now with a fresh start, new head coach, and the whole shebang to push on. I think it won't be a great year for the Jets. There's still a lot of turmoil there and a lot of issues, but at least they'll have a quarterback where they can say, this is our quarterback. He's a young man. Please God, he'll stay fit. And then we should see what the Jets are like besides that. Kyler Murray at the Cardinals. I'll be honest, I don't rate this man too high. He can give you glimpses of brilliance, but more times it's glimpses of average to poor. And for me, that's why he's down there. There is, maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he'll be the guy that'll come out and say, hey, this is my year, I'm going to show you all. But those times last year, you were going, wow, but there were too few and far between, and those times last year going, what the hell? And you're doing that more times than not. Then I have Caleb Williams at the Bears. It's a huge year for him, and it's a huge year for the Bears. Again, he's like the other guys. It's a second year. Now, he had a poor year last year, and it'll be interesting to see now that everything is out in the open there in Chicago. Will he kick on and move on and be the player that everyone thinks he's going to be, or will he just be one of them other guys that just disappears, had a great start to his college career and then just vamoosed afterwards? Hopefully for him, he finds his act together and pushes on. And last in this list is Trevor Lawrence of the Jaguars. And people rave about this guy. Maybe the new head coach will do this for the Jags this year. I don't rate about him. I just think he's average at best. And someone blew smoke up his backside somewhere and people believed it. I have yet to see enough of him to say, yes, he belongs up higher in that list, because all these quarterbacks ahead of him are ahead of him. Then I go to the 8 teams where, for different reasons, I'm not writing them off, but just going off the quarterback list, it'll be a very tough season because there's a lot of questions. The first guy, I think he's a very good quarterback, but I have him here, is Michael Penix Jr. at the Falcons. And the reason I have him here is because in the background is Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins didn't show up for the OTAs, and as of yet, and we don't know if he is or he isn't going to show up for them. And it'll put pressure on Michael Penix because Kirk was there with him last year. Whether he'll be there or not this year, we'll see. So it'll be interesting to see will Michael Penix kick on, or what will be the crack with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix when they come to decide if they're going to have him as the number one quarterback or if they're going to bring back Kirk. I don't see Kirk coming back, but we will see. Then another team who, since Derek Carr has retired due to injury, is the Saints, New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shaw, by a lot of people's reckoning, will be their quarterback. There's Spencer Rattler there as well. But again, either of these two guys, one's a rookie, one's in the second year. It'll be interesting to see how they go. There was a few rumours that they might go after Kirk Cousins, but they're in the same division and I don't see it happening. Then we have JJ McCarthy at the Vikings. And yes, the Vikings are loaded, and I wish JJ McCarthy a full recovery from his injury. But he has to show to me that it's his first year in the NFL, that he's ready for the NFL, and that he's going to lead the Vikings. The Vikings have made it clear he's their quarterback. I think they'll have a good season, but they're in a very tough division. And it'll be interesting to see how JJ McCarthy reacts, because he's a year behind Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. He's a year behind these guys. So hopefully for him, he'll have a good season. Then at the New York Giants, well, you have Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, and who they reckon may get it is Jackson Dart as the quarterback. It's a tough one because Brian Dable and Joe Shane are in deep water there. They have to get a good year this year. I don't know. On another year, I'd be going with Jackson Dart. I had that who I have wrote down there, the rookie, and just give him his chance and let's go for it. But you brought in Russell Wilson. There had to be a reason behind it, and you brought in Jameson Winston as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the reason is behind it. But time will tell whatever the crack is. Then we go to the Tennessee Titans, and we have Cam Ward. He's a rookie. He's the number one pick, but he's going into a very, very poor team. Will Levis struggled. Will Levis failed. Will Levis is there as of now, but it'll be interesting to see will he still be there. But Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Titans on a different note have just joined the Irish market, international market. So welcome to the Irish market, Tennessee Titans. But we'll see how Cam Ward goes. I think he's a good footballer. I think he will lead, but I think he has an awful lot of pieces that needs to be put around him first before there'll be a team that can compete and contend on a regular basis. Then Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones at the Indianapolis Colts. And they are third from bottom of my list because Daniel Jones has a lot to prove and maybe a fresh start. And if he gets the quarterback number one role there, he may lead the Colts up the table and give them a chance. Anthony Richardson, when he came out of the game last year because he was tired, wasn't good enough. And I like Anthony Richardson, but I don't accept professional players who have a specific position, who isn't always running, isn't always taking belts, getting hits. Yes, very important. Have to be very smart and very astute and all that. But when you're not getting the same beatings as your offensive line, your defensive line, your tight ends, your edges that are getting way more hits, your running backs, there's no way you should be coming out of the game saying you're tired, especially a young man. So that's why I'm down there. If he proves me wrong, good and well. And the last two I come to because I have them as, right now, I don't even know what to call them, the group, because it's a farce, to be honest. So I'm going to go Kenny Pickett and the Browns. And you can have Kenny Pickett, you can have Joe Flacco, you can have Dylan Gabriel, or you can actually do Sean Saunders. Nobody knows who's the number one quarterback. From listening to clips of the Browns podcasts and stuff, they don't know who the number one quarterback is. They think that Joe Flacco won't get a run, that Kenny Pickett will start the season, but they may also try Dylan Gabriel and Shadir Saunders during the season and then work out who is their number one quarterback. And basically, by the sounds of things, accepting it that this year is wrote off for them, and they may go again for a quarterback next year. And that to me would probably be the worst scenario in the NFL at the minute if you were to stop there. But for some daft, major, unknown reason, there's a team I think is worse off than them. And it's the team that's hosting the game in Dublin this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, Mason Rudolph is their quarterback. How they have got themselves to this, I don't know. Because the Steelers are a team that And Mike Tomlin has had a losing season. And if you go with that quarterback as number one, you're going to have a losing season. And where they seem to have placed all their eggs is in Aaron Rodgers. Now, Mike Tomlin is a smart man, and the Rooneys are smart people, and the Steelers is a proud, proud organization. And I can't wait for them to come to Ireland. But why you are thinking about Aaron Rodgers, I will not know. I was watching a piece earlier on today from the NFL, and they said his best year was 2020, his last best year. And right they are. And it's now 2025, and he's missed a year through injury. He's 42 years of age, and last year he did not do a damn thing to excite one. But he's in the news, and that's what he wants to be. And how an organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, if they were going for Aaron Rodgers, should have said before the draft, you decide now, before this draft, whether you're coming to us or not. And if you come to us, good and well, and if you're not, let us know and we get someone. But it's in Aaron Rodgers' hands. He's in on every network. Everyone's talking about him. Look at myself, talking about him. And he has the Pittsburgh Steelers by the jewels, we put it that way. Because if they don't take him, then you can write off this season and maybe write off Mike Tomlin's legacy and the whole shebang. Because that in AFC North, with the Ravens and the Bengals, and I'll talk about them in the future, they're loaded. So you're a long way off them. TJ Watt is at a contract year, and would you commit to yourself to that team knowing that this year is going to be Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers? Like, why didn't they go and get Kirk Cousins? Pay him, bring him. Yes, you might not win the Super Bowl, but you'll push. You'll have an exciting year. Why didn't they draft a quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, and go with them and say, look, you're my guy. I believe in you. Show me what you can do. They got rid of one poisonous thing in their arsenal, we should say, when they got rid of the wide receiver, George Pickens. But they brought in DJ Metcalf, and bringing in DJ Metcalf is a brilliant thing if you have a quarterback. But right now, teams are back to OTAs. They're starting. Some are already well into it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers don't know whether Aaron Rodgers is going to play for them or not. I'm very disappointed. And I can't believe they've got themselves caught up in the Aaron Rodgers debacle, or even been associated with him. Yes, he was an exceptional quarterback when he was in his prime, but he ain't Tom Brady, and his prime is gone. But we'll see if he comes to, and I'm knocking the mic over, if he comes to Dublin, will he be there? What will he be like? It's funny how the week 4 they come to Dublin, they're playing the Vikings. Week 5 they're taking their bye. Who knows what's going on? Maybe they have a plan that we don't know about. But as of now, I have them on the bottom of my list, as in where the quarterbacks rank. And for a team that hasn't had a losing record in a season under Mike Tomlin, yes, they've been one and done for the last few years in playoffs, but they're getting to playoffs. And you look at all the teams that don't get to the playoffs, you go, I wish I was them. But they're not. So that is my list. That's most of my list. I nearly forgot about the important guys. The top 5. So the top 5 may open a few eyes, may not. But the way I have them placed. But number 5, I have Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a quality quarterback. He is the top 5. He's up there. He's the current MVP at Super Bowl, and he is also the Super Bowl champion. So he's number 5. Number 4, I have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is there because he's been MVP twice. He pushed Josh Allen all the way to MVP last year. Yes, he has struggled in playoffs, but on the regular season, he's been very good. And unless you're very good in the regular season, you don't get to playoffs. So there's no point doing it in the playoffs if you can't do it in the regular season. And he is lethal throwing and he is lethal running. And he's got Derrick Henry, and they'll be a team again this year that'll be very hard beat. Number 3, Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow had a defense last year, they would have been one of the contenders for the Super Bowl. It'll be interesting to see will they have a defense this year because they've put all the money into the 2 wide receivers. But Joe Burrow as a quarterback is top 3 without a shadow of a doubt in my eyes. And if the Bengals do have a defense this year, and time will tell, they could be a contender this year going forward. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes' quality, whether we like him or not, or who he plays for or not, but he is quality. But he is a bit like Brady. He gets decisions his own way at times, and I don't like that. But I can take nothing away. I do have a bitter pill about the AFC Championship game last year, but we have to let that go and calmly suck it down. But I have him as number 2, and the Chiefs this year, it'll be interesting. They'll either be a team that will push again or be gone. I don't see them having an average, middling kind of season because I think it'll be Travis Kelce's last season, and I think that Mahomes will need a full new redo when the season ends, regardless what happens in between defense and offense in their team. And number 1, and it's no surprise for me, Josh Allen. And I've said this since I became a Bills fan. So I've followed the Bills, watching the Bills before I was a Bills fan. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league. Look at the amount of games with the weapons he had last year. He got MVP, and deservedly so, because it was him that was leading the team. He's getting married in a few days, and I wish him the best luck, himself and his beautiful fiancée, and I hope they have many, 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 many happy years together and healthy years together and a brilliant future ahead of them. But he still went to OTAs this week and his wedding coming up. It shows you the commitment of the man. I have seen, been over there in Buffalo, how much they love him. I have seen what he loves, how much he loves the Buffalo community, how much he helps. He's not greedy for money. He's not there for his money. He's there to win as a team and to win and bring something to Buffalo for Buffalo. And without a shadow of a doubt, in my eyes, and I mean without a shadow of a doubt, he is the best quarterback in the league by a country mile. And whether that's Buffalo Bills goggles, these goggles, or any other kind of goggles on, I don't care. That's what I see. That's what I believe. And it's a lot of the reason why, and I'll always be a Buffalo Bills fan, but why I started being a Buffalo Bills fan was watching Josh Allen and Josh Allen on the sideline. And that's my number 1. So my number 1 to 5 is Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. And number 5, Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles. And they're my top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Let me know what you think. So that's my video for this evening, folks. I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you're all having a wonderful week, and we'll have a wonderful weekend. And until we go again, stay safe, stay happy, and as always, my friends, go Bills.